Hello lovely people, today I'm super excited because today we're gonna start a new series. We will do a 8-inch mid-bass drivers shootout. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here for a while, welcome back. You've seen most of these drivers reviewed on my channel. Today, we're gonna put everything into one pool and we're gonna do a shootout. Now, what this series is gonna be and what is it not gonna be? This series is not to find the best mid-bass driver because it doesn't exist. Your ideal mid-bass driver will depend on your specific needs, your specific system, your specific install and the car. If by any chance we're gonna crown the best a driver such as this and you physically cannot fit it, it's basically useless for you because every single driver is designed for a specific purpose, specific application, and specific price point. So I'm not gonna thank each individual driver manufacturer because that will take ages, and I already did that in the previous reviews. All of these drivers that you see on this bench were reviewed on my channel. If you want to see any individual reviews of them, please watch them below. I'm gonna link all the reviews in the video description. The second point, what this shootout is not, it will not be my personal subjective opinions on how something sounds. That will highly depend on tuning, on your house curves, and again, on your taste. What this shootout supposed to be, what I aim to do with this series is to analyze the data from all of these drivers and give you, the viewers, the tools, the mental tools, in order for you to choose the best driver for your specific application. Here on the bench we have a big selection of drivers. Before we go through each individual driver, I would like to talk a little bit about this series that I'm planning to do. So in total, I'm planning to do 6 episodes. The first one is going to be this one, where we're going to have a look at these individual drivers. So in this video, I will present all of these drivers. I'm going to tell you what they are, and basically we're going to have a look at them from the outside. We're going to talk about the materials that they're made of, the connection types, and mainly we're going to focus on the physical size of the drivers because you can see that like this one and this one, they're very different drivers. So I will tell you about the mounting depth, about the total height of the driver, and about the cone size because not all cones are exactly the same sizes. Episode 2 will be mainly to do with the TS parameters. I will collect all the TS parameters from the manufacturers, what they published online, and I will measure my own, and then we're gonna compare them just to see what is the difference in parameters between all of these drivers. And then you will see that a lot of these drivers are like almost complete opposites of each other because they have very different parameters. That will be done in REW from the impedance sweep. We could do exactly the same with data and DATs, but I don't have it, so we're gonna use something else. And then in the same episode, we will calculate theoretical maximum output of a driver. I do that very simply. It's Xmax times SD because these drivers will be installed in the door, so it's kind of almost infinite baffle application where your output is determined only by how much air a driver pushes out. And that obviously, the bigger the cone, the more air, and the bigger the Xmax, the more the driver can move. So then we're gonna see, in theory at least, which drivers are capable of reaching the highest SPL. Episode number 3, we will start measuring them. Mainly we're gonna focus on the performance on a baffle. So I know I have all the measurements already in the individual reviews, but I want to do it like everything from scratch. So same baffle, same amplifier, same microphone, all the same settings, exactly the same day. So we have the same temperature, same humidity, everything is exactly the same. And this is not to verify or deny what the manufacturers are publishing, if they have any data published, but to compare, relatively compare one driver to the other. And we're gonna have a look mainly at 3 things, which is the frequency response, distortion, and impulse. Since these are mid-bass drivers, I don't know, unless you really want it, but off-axis performance to me is not really important because I personally would never recommend to use an 8-inch driver in a two-way system because of acoustical problems in a car. These big massive drivers should be used in a three-way as dedicated mid-bass driver. And from those measurements, we will see, can they play low, or some drivers maybe are better playing up high. Some of them might have a very short impulse, they're going to be very snappy. Some may have a little bit longer impulse, and so on and so on. Episode number 4 is going to be in a car. So I will put all of these drivers in a car. It will take me ages and I don't want to do that, but for you, for science. So we will put each individual driver in a car and we're going to measure the RTA. So we will compare how RTA differs in a car in a specific real world scenario. In that video, I might try to give you some subjective opinions of how some of these drivers sound, if there's going to be a big massive difference. And what I would like to do is an SPL test. I don't know how it's going to work, but I just want to see the output potential of some of these drivers. Maybe we're going to have a look at the same power level, maybe on the same volume knob. We will see. I haven't decided yet, but I want to do something just to show you what are they capable of. Episode number 5 is going to be something different and something very interesting, which is mid-bass driver performance in an enclosure. So as we know, a lot of people are making enclosures on the doors in a car. Maybe you're going to have kick pods. Maybe you have something on the floor, but sometimes you have to put mid-bass drivers in an enclosure, maybe under the seats. And I want to see if all of these drivers are capable of working in an enclosure and if it's optimal or not really. Because some drivers, like most of them to be honest, are designed to work in a door in an infinite baffle application. So how they're going to work in an enclosure is going to be very fun to see. And if you have a specific install that you have already, maybe kick pods or door enclosures, maybe that will help you to choose specific parameters to look into a driver when you're choosing a driver for that specific application. And episode 6 is the last one, which is gonna summarize everything. Maybe we're gonna make a little table just to see, like I did with the tweeters and the mid-ranges, for comparison reasons, how drivers are different, what they're capable of. Then we're gonna add the price obviously at the end, and hopefully that finished last table that we're gonna do will help you to choose the best driver for your specific application. Now, before you're gonna start judging me, why do you have only these drivers? Why you don't have anything Focal? Why do you not have anything Blam, JL Audio, Rockford Fosgate, all the other brands? The problem is that on the planet Earth, there's probably 1,000 of different drivers. I don't want to test all of them. That is not the goal. The goal is to have a very varied selection of drivers because a lot of them are very, very different from each other. And the goal is again to compare so that you, when you're choosing a driver, you can select whatever is available on your local market. Because if you're like in East Asia, obviously you're gonna have different selection than people in America or in Europe or in, I don't know, South America or somewhere else. So as long as you can get the TS parameters of a specific driver, you can roughly estimate if it's gonna fit your specific purpose based on whatever we're doing here. So please do not comment, can you test this? Can you test that? I am testing only the stuff that brands, manufacturers, and people send me. If I see something interesting, I will ask them. So that's how I got some of these drivers. I just asked because that specific driver interested me a lot. Don't ask me why this or that is not included because I just literally explain it to you. I know a lot of people are not gonna watch it and they're gonna start commenting straight away. So bear in mind, I'm not gonna answer those comments. Okay, so all of that out of the way, let's have a look what kind of selection that we have. So as I mentioned, we're gonna have a look at these drivers from the outside and I'm just gonna tell you the dimensions of them and the mounting depth. Now I have here 10 drivers. In reality, we have 8 mid-bass drivers and I added these 2 just for fun because why not? So let's start with these in no particular order. This driver is older than I am. This is an old Soviet driver. It's 10 Gada Ash 1, which is a 10-watt головка динамическая широкополосная. That means it's basically a full-range driver from Soviet Russia. So you can see here it is made in 1986. I was born in 1987, so this is 1 year older than me. I have these drivers in my home cinema bookshelf speakers for as long as I am alive, because these were given to my mom when I was born. I want to see what they are capable of, not output-wise, but the quality-wise, because I have them, I listen to them, and I really like how they sound. So these drivers have a cast aluminum basket with no finish. It's just literally aluminum, tiny little magnet. The shape is a little bit weird. We have paper cone with foam surround that unfortunately deteriorates over time and it gets rotten. And this driver has a wizard cone, which is supposed to help with a higher frequency reproduction. So these are supposed to play all the way up to 20K. Now, in regards to the height and the mounting depth, I'm just gonna take a ruler and just gonna measure. So I am sorry, I will use centimeters and millimeters because inches for me don't make sense. When I'm gonna make the table, I will make sure to put both measurements for you. So the mounting depth is 78 millimeters and the actual height is 92 millimeters. And like from looking from all of these, they're kind of average, kind of the same as all the other ones. Now this, again, I added it just for fun. It's not a Midbass driver. This is an 8-inch subwoofer. This is from Audiophile Sound Systems. I did review it together with a 6.5-inch component set. This is made in Italy, CF 8.1 subwoofer. Now this subwoofer has a paper cone, cast aluminum basket. It is a beefy sucker, and this is a subwoofer. That is why I want to add it, just to see what is the difference between some of these mid-basses and an actual subwoofer. It is slightly bigger than all the other drivers, like the cone-wise and like the mounting, so it's a little bit oversized 8, but yeah, just for fun, because why not? So this driver as well has push terminals for mounting the wires, which is very, very nice. And in regards to the depth, this is the tallest from them all. So mounting depth, we have 102 millimeters, and the total height, which is including the surround, and for this I'm just gonna use a ring just to put it on top, because you can see if surround protrudes, obviously it's going to be higher than something like this when it's totally flush. So the total height is 118 millimeters. Now, all of the rest, we're going to start from this corner and we're going to go up, up, up. So basically, we're going to start from the shallowest and we're going to go onto the taller, 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 and all the biggest ones. So the most shallow driver that I have, it doesn't mean that is the shallowest from the all, it's just the one that I have, is the Helix Compose i5 series CI5 S200 FM. This is an amazing mid-bass / subwoofer driver from Helix that primarily is aimed for BMW under seats. And the whole purpose of this driver was to have it playing kind of without the subwoofer, because they do play low, they have a lot of excursion, and a lot of people like it, especially for the price, which we're not going to discuss now, we're going to leave it for the last. So these drivers have this ring that you can remove. Without the ring, the actual size of the driver is much smaller than all the other ones. However, with the ring, the actual diameter is exactly the same as any other driver, and even the mounting holes do match. So this driver has a composite cone, which is plastic for us normal people, composite basket as well, again plastic, nothing wrong with that, and one of the weirdest terminals for speakers. So you see we have some grub screws that you need to put a wire in, and you need to use a small Allen key to screw it in. It's inconvenient, but it saves space. This one is a 2 ohm version, because there's two different versions. It's a dual 2 ohm coil and a single 2 ohm. So this is a single 2 ohm coil. I believe this is the only one 2 ohm driver, because all the other ones are 4 ohm drivers. So it's not really fair, but yeah, it is what it is. In regards to the mounting depth, this is super shallow. I am reading about 48 millimeters. The shallowest. Since the surround protrudes a tiny bit, the total height is about 59 millimeters. So super, super shallow driver. And again, like if you're comparing this and this, I mean, can you see the difference? So that's what I mean. If you can fit only this, you're not gonna look at this at all. You know what I mean? Okay, the second driver, the second shallowest from the bunch that I have is Stereo Integrity TM8. A lovely, lovely driver that has an aluminum cone, so metal cone, cast aluminum basket, nice shiny chrome motor and push terminals. It does have this included rain guard, so when you have it in the doors, if the rain falls or anything, it doesn't go directly onto the cone, but it kind of slides off. So this is the second shallowest driver. The mounting depth of it is about 59 millimeters and the total height is 73 millimeters. Don't worry about the numbers, we're going to put it in the spreadsheet and we're going to compare them later on. The third shallowest driver, but this goes into like a normal driver territory, is One Audio MB8.E. This is a high sensitivity like PA Pro Audio style driver with paper cone, a very, very light paper cone, big massive magnet, stamped steel basket, and these terminals that you're supposed to use like the crimp connectors, or you can solder directly on them. This is a budget driver and I like to be honest, I like all of them. So One Audio. Mounting depth 70 millimeters and the total height, because this is totally flush, it's about 76 millimeters. So on all the other ones, yeah, there's a few other ones. So with the total height, because you can see, like for example, this, the surround protrudes and this one is totally flat. So yeah, that's why the total height is slightly different. Next in line, we have US Amps Timber 8. These drivers are probably the most beautiful. Now, a lot of people say that they look like DIN Audio drivers. There are other drivers that have kind of the same tooling for the same basket. However, as I mentioned in one of my posts, that if you change one thing like a cone, coil, or a spider, that driver will perform totally different. So we can see the actual coil, man, it looks sick. Okay, so this driver has a carbon fiber cone, it has a cast aluminum basket, and it has the same terminals that you need crimp connectors, or you can solder the leads directly on them. These connectors are on the opposite side of the driver, not next to each other. So just one thing to note. In regard to the mounting depth, it's very similar to the One Audio. So we have 77 millimeters of mounting depth. And the height, yes, the surround does protrude a tiny bit. So the total height is about 87 millimeters. Now we're gonna go to this one. This driver, I did not review it. This is an Aries SK8. This driver came from a car that won Emma. I think I can tell you, it's Mark Skoda, if you remember. Now he has, I don't know what he has in the kicks, but he has the One Audio IBN3 and he's basically winning everything with Accutons in the front. So he had them in, I do believe, sealed kick pods and we traded some drivers. So this is from basically his car, competition winning drivers. I don't know much about these drivers because I really didn't test them. So it's going to be kind of the first time that we're going to test it. Paper cone, stamped steel basket, much smaller motor compared to all the other ones. And we have, again, these terminals that you need crimp connectors or you can solder. I think, yes, these were soldered already. So there we go. In regards to the mounting depth, this is a little bit higher. It's kind of a full-size driver already. So mounting depth is 83 millimeters and the total height with a surround that is protruding is going to be 94 millimeters. Next one is one of the three beasts that we have. This is hey little boy, Sundown SA8M. If you haven't seen the review of this driver, this is the first attempt of Sundown, an SPL brand, to make a proper dedicated SQ driver. So this one has a carbon fiber cone, which is different from US Amps because this one you can feel the actual carbon fibers, whereas the US Amps is kinda it's not epoxied, but it has a layer that makes it shiny. It just has that glossy layer. So it's kind of the same, but kind of different. We have cast aluminum basket, very, very thick, big, massive motor. And we have these nice push terminals. So in regards to the mounting depth, these three will be big. So the mounting depth is about 88 millimeters. And the total height, which is actually the same as this one because the surround is not protruding anymore, 96 millimeters. Next one, almost exactly the same dimensions because you can see they fit exactly the same. Mounting depth is exactly the same. And if I'm just gonna very quickly put them together, man, they're super heavy. There we go. They look almost the same, like the size-wise. There we go. Yes. So these are Stevens Audio MB8, which are more of an SQL driver. They're supposed to play very, very loud. They have a paper cone, which is super, super light. I think this one audio and Stevens Audio have the lightest cones from all of these. We will confirm it next time we're going to have a look at the TS parameters, but super, super light, very, very high sensitivity driver, big, massive motor, cast aluminum basket, and mounting depth and height exactly the same as the Sundown driver. And last but not least is, it's not a subwoofer, but this is 7 Fidelity E8F single 4-ohm coil driver. These are really, really beastly drivers. The biggest from all of them. So we have aluminum cone, which is metal cone, not paper anymore, cast aluminum basket, big, big, massive motor, and these mounting terminals are spade, which you can again solder or crimp. I didn't mention Stevens Audio have push terminals exactly the same as Sundown. So mounting depth of this massive beast is 105 millimeters. Man. And the total height is 117 millimeters. So really, really big driver like this and this, they're almost the same. It's just the subwoofer has a little bit bigger cone and bigger basket, slightly oversized. But you can see that size-wise, it's almost a subwoofer. So these are all the drivers. So I want to kind of make a little summary and a quick comparison, like the similarities or the main biggest differences. We have two drivers that are aluminum cone, which is stereo integrity and the 7 Fidelity. Two drivers that are carbon fiber, Sundown and US amps. Three drivers are paper cone, Aries, Stevens Audio and one of them is a composite. These, again, just for fun, so we're not gonna go in very depth of them. It's just to see paper and paper. Again, the most popular material is obviously paper, then carbon fiber, then aluminum. In regards to the basket size, two drivers really stand out, which is the stereo integrity TM8 and the US amps timber. They're basically different because of the size and the bolt pattern. All of these, they do fit exactly the same mounting holes. They have 8 screws and the actual size of the basket identical. So I will be able to fit all of them in my doors with absolutely no modifications. Stereo integrity, it has kind of the same basket size. The difference is that for some reason it has 6 mounting holes instead of 8. So I will need to modify something in order to mount them. And the US amps, it does have 6 mounting holes as well. However, it has a slightly smaller basket. So you can see the difference, how much smaller it is. So really, it is called an 8-inch driver, and I did say this in the review. On paper, it's 8-inch, but it is much smaller than your typical 8-inch driver. So the size of a driver, the cone area, the diameter, when you're calculating, you should measure from half the surround to half the surround. So for example, this one is about 16.5 centimeters, which corresponds to 6.5 inches. And the US amps is only 6 inches. So basically half an inch or about 25 millimeters smaller compared to all the other drivers. So this is really more like a 7-inch driver, even if it is called 8. The other standout is this Helix little shallow woofer, mainly because like if you use it without this ring, it becomes much smaller, similar to the US amps, but when you put the ring on, the outside diameter is the same as your typical driver. However, the cone is much smaller as well. So this one is, again, in inches, just tiny bit more than 6 inches or 15.5 centimeters. So the smallest cone area is the US amps timber, slightly bigger this Helix CI5, and all the other ones are much bigger than these two drivers. So again, this is kind of a disadvantage because for output, for sensitivity, you want more cone area. So these two have the smallest cone area. So when all of them have the cone area of like 16.5 centimeters or 6.5 inches, this subwoofer, surprisingly, even if it has a bigger basket than all the other ones, the cone is actually exactly the same as this, which is 16.5 centimeters or 6.5 inches. So performance-wise, as long as it has the same amount of X-Max as some of these, the output is going to be kind of the same. And again, in the review, when I reviewed this Audiophile Sound Systems PhD subwoofer, I did say that to me, it's more of a mid-bass driver. But again, it was designed to be a subwoofer. So there we have it. A all my videos are long. A quick overview of all the contenders in this shootout. Again, I'm gonna remind you, this is not to find the best mid-bass driver. This is in order to help you choose the best driver for your specific application. So I will start filling up the little table. You can download the Excel sheet in the video description if you want to compare the actual physical sizes. And in the same sheet, in the next episodes, we will fill up with more and more data. I'm super excited to start measuring these drivers, even if, or they already measured, but I just want to compare how they compare one against each other. So I'm not going to drag it anymore. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see any future updates, please subscribe to my channel. That's probably the first time that I asked. If you find this content useful, maybe consider sharing it and telling your friends that this thing exists and that I'm doing this thing. Please do not ask me to add more drivers because I don't want to have the same headache that I have with the Twitter shootout. As cool as it was, it's just a logistical nightmare, and to measure all of them, it takes ages. And I'm not doing this for money. I'm not getting any money. The only money that I'm getting is from ads that you watch on the YouTube. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.